Okay, imagine for just a second that the number of candles on your birthday cake doesn't actually dictate how old your brain and body feel. What if you could literally decouple your physical, chronological age from your cognitive, biological age? I mean, what if you could be 80 years old, but walking around with the memory and brain function of a 50-year-old?
Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into an absolutely thrilling paradigm shift happening right now in the world of longevity science. We're moving way beyond that old, tired goal of just surviving for as long as possible. Instead, we're looking at the hard data on how to radically extend our health span. We're going to explore what makes certain people seem to age perfectly, the hidden biological clocks ticking away inside your cells right this very minute, and how artificial intelligence is on the verge of changing medicine forever.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, redefining how we age.
For the longest time, the medical community was utterly obsessed with just lifespan. Literally just adding more years to your life. But to really grasp the new equation, we have to look back at a brilliant concept proposed in 1980 by Stanford's Dr. James Fries. It's called the compression of morbidity. Now, morbidity is just a medical term for chronic illness, specifically the big four killers: cardiovascular disease, cancer, neurodegeneration, and metabolic dysfunction. Fries hypothesized that the true objective of public health shouldn't just be living longer, but delaying the onset of these diseases for as long as humanly possible, essentially compressing the burden of lifetime illness into a tiny, short window right at the very end of life.
And this comparison really hits the nail on the head. On the one side, we have the old view. It's that dreaded traditional model of aging. We use modern medicine to extend a person's lifespan, sure, but they end up spending the last 2 decades of their life suffering from chronic diseases, cognitive decline, and physical disability. On the other side is the new view, the ultimate aspirational goal of modern longevity science. You live a long, highly functional, vibrant life, and that unavoidable period of decline, it's compressed into just a few months at the very end.
Which brings us to Section 2, Secrets of the Superagers.
To see this new paradigm in action, we really just need to look at real people walking among us right now. They're known as superagers. The term was actually pioneered by researchers at Northwestern University. A superager is someone 80 years old or older who, when you test them, has the episodic memory and recall mirroring that of healthy people in their 50s and 60s. They are living, breathing proof that severe mental decline is absolutely not an inevitable part of getting older.
And when researchers actually imaged and analyzed their brains, they found a very specific physical signature. First up, they have a thicker anterior cingulate cortex. That's the region crucial for attention and executive decision-making. Second, they have this incredible cellular resilience to protein pathology. We're talking 87% fewer tau tangles and a built-in resistance to the amyloid plaques that trigger Alzheimer's. And third, they possess up to 4 to 5 times more von Economo neurons. These are those large brain cells associated with high social engagement and rapid communication. Basically, their brains literally resist shrinkage and disease. It's wild.
But it gets even better. Listen to this number, 2.5. A major breakthrough study out of the University of Illinois Chicago found that superagers actually produce up to 2.5 times more new neurons in their hippocampus compared to typical older adults. As Dr. Tamar Geffen from Northwestern points out, this ongoing creation of new brain cells, a process called neurogenesis, is actual biological proof of the brain's plasticity. It tells us that a remarkably healthy aging brain doesn't just stop developing. It remains incredibly dynamic, adaptable, and fully capable of constant cellular renewal. It's truly amazing when you think about it.
Moving right along to Section 3, ticking biological clocks.
So you're probably wondering, how do we know how fast our own bodies are aging compared to those superagers? Well, science has identified deep biological data that acts as internal timers, a complete multiomics profile. We have telomere length, which measures the protective caps on our DNA. There's the epigenetic clock, looking at how our DNA is methylated. The transcriptomic clock, tracking your gene expression. The proteomic clock, looking at the actual proteins in your blood. And the metabolomic clock, tracking metabolites. Think of these 5 clocks kind of like different dials on a car's dashboard. They're all reading the wear and tear of a human life, but they're doing it from completely different biological angles.
And here is a totally fascinating finding from a massive eLife study that looked at over 3,000 subjects. When researchers compared these 5 clocks in individuals, they found very little overlap. The clocks almost never correlated with one another. So what does that actually mean for us? It means biological aging is not just one simple unitary process. Your metabolic clock could be ticking super fast while your epigenetic clock is ticking slow. Aging is highly multifactorial.
So the big takeaway here is this. If we want to truly grasp someone's biological resilience and their actual risk for disease, we can't just look at one metric in isolation. We absolutely must integrate all their deep biological data into one cumulative score, known as a composite index. The eLife study proved that this composite index is far superior at reflecting your true multi-system biological age than any single clock could on its own.
Let's dig into Section 4, Determinants of Biological Age. Now that we know how science measures these clocks, what exactly makes them tick faster or slower? Well, that eLife study yielded some incredibly powerful findings. A high body mass index, or BMI, is hugely destructive. It actually accelerates all 5 biological clocks. Metabolic syndrome and smoking? Those accelerate 4 of the clocks. Being male also accelerates 4 clocks, which aligns with the data that men generally have shorter health spans. But importantly, major depressive disorder significantly accelerates 3 of the clocks. This brilliantly illustrates how both physical and mental health factors have a massive, cumulative, multisystemic impact on how fast your cells are aging.
But hey, it's not all doom and gloom. We actually have a ton of agency here. Dr. Eric Topol, a leading cardiologist and longevity researcher, outlines a really clear lifestyle prescription to slow these clocks down by optimizing cellular maintenance. This means consistent exercise, and we're talking a combination of Zone 2 aerobic cardio, resistance training, and balance work. It means genuinely optimizing your sleep architecture, eating an anti-inflammatory diet, fostering deep social connections. Remember those von Amo neurons we talked about? And finally, spending time in nature to mitigate environmental stressors like air pollution and microplastics. Sticking to these habits can actively slow down your composite aging index.
And that leads us perfectly into Section 5, the future of prevention. But what happens when lifestyle just isn't quite enough? Let's face it, our current healthcare model is pretty broken. It's entirely reactive medicine. We literally wait until a patient shows symptoms of Alzheimer's or cardiovascular disease or cancer, and only then do we try to treat it. But Dr. Topol envisions this massive shift toward preventative AI medicine. By utilizing machine learning algorithms and tracking those multiomics aging clocks we just discussed, doctors will very soon be able to forecast organ-specific risks 20 years in advance. Imagine knowing your heart or your brain is aging too fast decades before disease actually sets in.
And when that AI does flag a risk, we're going to have an incredible arsenal of new breakthroughs ready to deploy. Tomorrow's therapeutics go far, far beyond what we have today. We're looking at multimodal AI for pinpoint early detection. We'll see the expanded use of GLP-1 drugs for profound metabolic and cardiovascular protection, essentially blocking body-wide inflammation. We're also going to see immune system modulators and highly targeted organ-specific interventions, like senolytics that actively clear out dead, dysfunctional zombie cells, maintaining our cellular health exactly where we need it most.
We are quite literally standing on the edge of a medical revolution. We now have the deep biological data, the multiomics clocks, and the advanced technological tools to compress morbidity and totally rewrite the trajectory of human life. Look, chronological age is inevitable. The years are going to pass no matter what. But your biological age? That is increasingly in your own hands. So knowing what you know now about superagers and ticking cellular clocks, what will you do today to change your biological age?